Good afternoon, good day, not the afternoon where you are. So good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in from today. My name is Lisa Starr Francis, and I am live today with the Word Oracle Alchemy System. And today I am talking about the subject of what is in a name. If you know anything about the word oracle, you know that the word oracle is an oracle that has to do with the frequency of words, and it is an oracle that is designed to help us unspell ourselves from the associations that we have with words, however we came across those associations. This deck helps us shift out of that because language itself is a form of spelling, and repeated words do create reality, and our reality remains the way that it is through the spelling that we do ourselves. So the word oracle is indeed about words, and specifically the lexicon is actually the alphabet, because all of our language is made up of those 26 letters. So here in the Word Oracle Alchemy System, there are actually 104 cards. There are 4 sets of 26 cards, each one of them in their own kind of color association and how that's associated to our body. So this work is about words, the frequency that they hold, and how our body, how our emotions, how our mentality, how we interact with the energy of words. So the when it comes to our name, for instance, our name is not a label. It's not a label. If we are looking at our name through the word oracle, the eyes of the word oracle, the word oracle is going to say that within our birth name, so the name that we get, within that name is the architecture that we arrived with. And the architecture that this deck speaks about that we arrived with would be the gifts, the attributes that when we were in the soul level, these were the things that we chose as attributes that we would utilize when we entered the flesh form. So our name, each of those letters, have associations to those characteristics, or those gifts, whatever we might want to call our the things that we wanted to go through the journey with, the attributes. Yes, that's a good word for it, attributes. So those attributes that are associated with the letters in your name are the architecture of you. So we're often in life looking for our purpose, and we often come upon teachings that will say our purpose is found within us. And we sometimes go like, that doesn't seem maybe to be a solid answer, or the answer that we are looking for. So inside your name is your purpose. Within each letter in your name is the architecture. So even though we've all heard the idea that our purpose is found within, that's true. And any strengths that you have, so any strengths that you have are likely to, your strengths are likely to be associated with the attributes with the letters in your name. All right, and throughout our life, a lot of those attributes, we are using them and we become strong in them. So things that you notice as strengths that are evident in your life, if you were to have your name code done, you would see that those are the things that you're naturally, your name code would reveal to you that you're naturally inclined to have those strengths. So, and sometimes some of the attributes that we have in our name reflected. So sometimes the architecture of a letter, for one reason or another, isn't fully active. It could be because at some point someone simply said something to us that made us shrink that attribute. And we've all noticed times where we've maybe closed off or shrunken an attribute for any reason along the past. So some of them could have gotten turned off when we were young. We just didn't use that anymore. Let's say you were using an attribute and someone made fun of you. You might not use that again. It's as simple as that. We wouldn't know that we were closing off something that we agreed to use at our soul level, or something that we chose to do. It's not even that we agreed, it's something that we chose to do at a soul level. We wouldn't, if we were conscious of that, we would not certainly turn it off, but many of us have had the experience where that has been the case. We've had that happen. Welcome, Adriana, glad to see you here. So today we are talking about what is in a name, the architecture of the name, and letters in general. And while I was preparing to do this series, some of the things I came upon were, in fact, the most popular letter for a name in North America is the letter J. There are more names in North America that begin with the letter J than any other letter. And it's followed by the letter M. That's in second place. So names that begin with J, names that begin with M, and names that begin with A, those are the top three in America. And I found it so interesting. And so, as I was saying, that when we have these agreements, that these attributes, that we're going to use them, often when we have the name code done, the things that are revealed to us, we often see, oh, the cards, the card and the attribute, the letter with that attribute actually is speaking to something that we see that we do. And so it's easy to see the ones that we have operating and we're working with, and it's also easy to see ones that we haven't quite fully allowed to blossom. So if we think of them like flowers blossoming, we want all the attributes that we picked to be able to blossom. That's the truth of it. So all our potential for our purpose, everything is inside of us. Some of it is laying dormant because for one reason or another, we didn't blossom those particular chosen attributes. That is just how it is. So I'm here just to share that information, that this oracle does a thing called your name code, and it does reveal quite a bit about the agreements that we have made. And for people who have done their name code, many of us have been able to feel that we've been able to step up in areas where we otherwise weren't able to step up before. And also we were able to recognize when the attributes of our chosen, the attributes of the architecture in our name, when that's revealed to us, it's easy for us to see which ones we're really doing, and it actually really speaks to the naturalness that most of us are experiencing when we actually know, oh, that is an attribute that I chose to come in with, and I'm actually very good in that area. And I found when I first started doing the name codes that it was so surprising how people could see that right away, and they could also see the things that they were not fully operating as well. So, with that being said, I said that today we're going to do the letter J. So today I am starting with the letter J. And the cards, we're not reading the cards. The cards have the letter on them, and the cards reveal something about each gift. So I'm simply showing the card, and I'm going to talk about all 4 of the J cards. So this is our gold one, our purple one, our green one, and our orange one. And I'm going to speak about all of those. So if you have a J in your name, if your name begins with J, or you have a J within your name, your birth name, these attributes would be something that you may be able to relate to and notice in your life. So I'm just going to speak about each one. I have a little sort of note, and of course I am just having that as a guideline so I don't boob anything up or forget to say something important that I had planned to share. All right, so the letter J, we're looking at the first card. So this card is called Sharing the Wealth. So when someone has come in with a J in their name, if they're operating the sharing the wealth attribute, the attribute that comes with sharing the wealth means that for some, giving for them is very natural. Okay? That's what the attribute is about, sharing the wealth. And for some, that is very natural. So, J people, you may want to relate to that. And sometimes, if for whatever reason, circumstance, it's usually circumstance in our life that doesn't allow us to be able to open the gift fully, to fully let it flower, as I like to say, to let it blossom in its fullness. So again, sharing the wealth would speak to the attribute of being able to give. Giving is natural. Giving is natural. Giving is like easy. And it flows really easily. And others who have the J may notice that they feel more guarded and that giving is not something that comes freely. So either way, with that J and that attribute, what you really want to look at in yourself is, how natural is it for me to share the wealth? Hey, Angie. Good to see you here. So I'm talking about the letter J. If anybody has it in their name, what is the attribute and what would that mean? So it really means that if you have this and you have it, you're using this attribute as you planned, it would mean that generosity, sharing the wealth, giving flows easily. That is what it would mean. And if not, the person may, for whatever reason, have had to shut that down. And there's all kinds of reasons and circumstances in people's lives that cause them to not fully blossom any gift. So if you have a J and you're hearing this, just notice, does giving flow easily for me, or am I more guarded about giving? If I'm not free with it, then I know that gift I've not fully blossomed that gift. It's just giving information. Okay, so that is what we need to look. It's giving us information, and of course, when you have your name code done, it comes with a way for all of these ones that we may find are not quite blossomed. The thing that you're doing with the name code, when you do it, allows that thing to naturally blossom, and you don't really have to do anything to make it happen other than follow the prescribed activity that the name code offers. Really great to see you, Angie. As I was saying earlier in the video, I'm starting with the letter J today because J is, in North America, J is the letter that the most names start with in all of North America. The second letter that most names start with is M, and the third letter is A. So over the next little while, I'm going to be back doing more of these with all the different letters, but I'm going to kind of go in the order, and I may take special requests. We'll see how it plays out. This is the first in this series because I am going to do a series about this. Okay, so the second J card, for those of you who have a J in your birth name. So we are specifically talking about the architecture of the letters in your birth name. So if you have a J in your birth name, or J is the first letter of your name, this speaks to the attribute that the four attributes, according to this oracle, that come with the letter J. So this card is called Blast Off in a Love Propelled Jet. That's the name of the card. So this speaks what about the attribute? This attribute you chose as a J, having the J in your name means that blast off in a love-propelled jet. So that means love leads the way in your life. Love leads the way. So if love does lead the way, if love is the way that you answer all decisions through the form of love, like you make your decision based on love, not based on money, circumstance, etc., etc. If you are naturally making your decisions, allowing love to lead the way in your life, then that gift is blossomed. If you find yourself in a position where something else might be driving you, urgency, pressure, responsibility, then you know that that gift is not blossomed. So again, these little tidbits that I'm sharing are just so that you can focus in and see, am I indeed in the position where this I am actively using this attribute as I plan to at a soul level, or am I not? Am I not? And these do reveal these things for us. Okay, so the third of these J cards is called Forest Magic Exists. So the attribute that this is about, so when you picked a J name, you were picking out this attribute, and this was one of the attributes that comes with J, that the sense of wonder is alive. Okay, so J, if you have a sense of wonder that is alive, if you feel that, like, wow, I'm always just wowed. You know, the people that are just wowed by nature. The sense of wonder is alive. If that describes you, and you have the J in your name, you can be sure that you are you have that attribute active in your life. And if on the other hand you notice that you sort of feel distant and you know, it's easy for you to overlook like the beauty in nature. If you don't look at if you don't look at something and see inside the spiral, the Fibonacci symbolism that is present all across nature, and if that doesn't kind of gobsmack you, if that's easy for you to overlook, then the attribute of the sense of wonder is not fully blossomed. So that is a way to know whether or not you have that one fully blossomed. And that is what we want to do. We want them to be fully blossomed, because if they're fully blossomed, they're fully activated, and at a soul level, we meant to. Only life and circumstance has allowed us to dim down certain attributes, or allow them to lay dormant because of one thing or another. So, and this is our final J card, and this one talks about another attribute that comes with the J. So this one's called faith is not an option, it is essential. Faith is not an option, it is essential. So if you're a person with a J in your name, either your name begins with J or you have a J in your birth name, that attribute being fully present, fully bloomed, would mean that your faith is steady and present no matter what. Your faith is steady and present in the good times and in the not so good times. It's just your faith is always there, bottom line. That is what the J attribute is about. It's steady, it's present. Faith is always there because it's essential in this situation. This is an essential attribute. So that is how it looks if it's in, if it's in its blossom. If for whatever reason it's not blossoming, it may feel hard to access your faith, especially in certain moments where things aren't working out. You might be able to access your faith when things are somewhat dicey, but if things get really dicey, it might be hard to get it activated. If you find that that's true for you, it means as a J, you don't have the attribute fully blossomed. But the good news is that all attributes can blossom. They are just simply laying dormant. They're just laying dormant. The potential is always present, and it can be switched on and expressed any time you decide to switch it on and express it. And I will say that the name code is something that is available on my website. It is personalized exactly to your name. You can get the name code done and have it done in a written form, and you would be doing an activity with that every day for a number of days. So when the name code is worked out, every letter in your name is used in the explanation of attributes, let's just say. And also every letter has an association with a number unique to it. And all of those things are taken into consideration, the number of letters and all of those things. And there's a mathematical equation done, which gives me the number of days that you would actually do your name code. And everybody's number is different. I've seen them as low as 90 days, and I've seen them as high as 120 days. It again has everything to do with your unique name, the spelling of your unique name. So that is my my little presentation on the letter J. And so if you have a friend with the letter J in their name, if you have a friend with the letter J, if you have a family member with the letter J, you might want to watch this again and listen to the attributes that are associated with J people, and maybe look and see how do you see that they're strong in those attributes. I would find that a lot of J people will be strong in those attributes, but it'd be interesting for you to be able to look around and see that. And also, if you have a J named friend, first letter J, friend or relative, someone you know, someone you care about that might like to hear about the attributes that they chose at a soul level before they came in. And of course, the Word Oracle assumes that we all believe that our name is pre is pre-picked by us, as is where we come in, whose family we come into. So if we get parents with a certain last name, um, that is not random according to the Word Oracle system. It's not random. Numerology also suggests it's not random. And this is not like numerology in that, yeah, it's not like numerology. This is called your name code, and it is specifically to allow you to interpret and see for yourself which attributes related to the letters in your names that you are actively strong in, and which ones are laying dormant and could be activated so that you could be living the full adventure that you planned for yourself, coming in with this name and this set of attributes chosen by you. So I hope that you find this interesting and helpful. I was trying to keep this video under 20 minutes because that's the way that they are best served when I move to other platforms. And for those of you who do follow me here on Facebook, if you happen to be on Instagram and you're not following me over there, following me there would be very helpful. I used to be able to go live on Instagram, but they changed the rule at the end of 2025. And so now I'm not allowed to go live there because I don't have enough followers there. I only have about 300 and I have to have 1,000. So I am asking you that if you're on there, you happen to be seeing this, and you don't already like me over there, your like will go a long way in helping me to reach that goal. And I appreciate you so much. And if you're watching this in replay, and for those of you who are watching it live, if there's a particular letter of the alphabet that you'd like to hear me do, explain the attributes about, I would love to hear from you. So, because some people's letters are going to be way down the chart. I'll just give you a little rundown just before we go so you can understand that when I looked it up, the most popular names in North America, this is the top 13. J, M, A, C, D, R, S, L, B, K, E, T, G. So those are the first 13, and as I said, in this series, there will be all 26 will be looked at so you can understand what the attributes are, and feel for yourself, am I actually working with the attributes of the letters in my name? Am I letting them fully blossom? And I hope that you are, because all of us deserve to have the exact adventure while we're in the flesh that we picked out before we got here. All of us are entitled to that pleasantry in that journey. So, of course, when I say that pleasantry, I know that life has both ups and downs, hills and valleys. But when we know that we are working with all of our attributes, even the valleys will be filled with authenticity and sovereignty, because we'll know that we are working with all the attributes that we have chosen to experience in this lifetime, and that when all of those are operational, when we have valley experiences, it will be the architecture within our names. It will be those attributes that will buoy us through whatever it is that we may be experiencing. And you know, if you knew these things about attributes and things like that before your children were born, you could have made sure that your child had that J in their name, so that for them, faith is steady and present, that they have the attribute of growing that gift. But I didn't know this. This system didn't exist when I had children, so I didn't get to pick that. I don't know if it will help other people pick in the future. I certainly know that when I was having my children, I had studied numerology and was very good at doing numerology charts. And um, I did try to pre-plan my children's names based on numerology, because I thought that if I did it, I could make it so that my children didn't weren't missing any of the elements of the 9 numbers in the numerology, in the basic numerology chart. Yes, I did try to do that. And even though I attempted to do it, the spelling of my daughter's name that I would have had to use in order to make it happen did not look right to me. So because it didn't look right, I actually could not give her a name that did not, that I couldn't give her a name with all 9 numbers in it, just because it didn't look right to me. And that is the way that the universe works. Even when you're trying to use something to set something up, her name was meant to be the way that it is written. It wasn't meant to be written the way the way that it was meant to be written the way that I got it. And even though to make it be, perfect in the numerology of numbers, I would have had to switch a letter. I didn't like that switch, so I didn't switch it. So she got the name that she was meant to have without me corrupting the attributes that she was choosing. And I'm sure that there was much magic happening to make that other way unappealing to me at the time. All right, I hadn't planned any of what I was really going to say, other than I had written down what the cards wanted me to say about the attributes. But the rest of it I didn't write down, because in truth, I understand my subject, and in truth, these are live broadcasts that I am not editing ever, because I'm not here to edit myself. And when I find myself using language that implies like should over suggest, I catch myself right on camera and I correct myself. That is what word alchemy does to you. It brings you into a present relationship with your use of language, because words are power. Words are spelling our lives for us. And I've used words to spell myself a great life, and I've also used words to spell myself a not so great life, making me a balanced teacher of such. And that is why I'm here, because I am teaching this through life experience, and I never planned to be a word alchemist. I never planned to become someone who practices word alchemy daily. But God's plan was that for me. And once I said to God I was willing to live by God's grace, this whole system poured itself through me. And with a lot of dedication, I applied myself to the task at hand. And from the beginning of the creation, probably started, I don't know, I think it was 2013 maybe, somewhere along the line over the years, it has grown into something so fabulous, something that I'm so happy to share, and something that I'm not willing to script just to make presentation more algorithm friendly or whatever. I'm not here to be algorithm friendly, although I would like the algorithm to work in my favor. So I am saying to those of you who are seeing this in replay, in live, when you like it, that helps me. that helps me. When you're just willing to click like, you're actually really helping me. When you actually make a comment, even if you don't write a word, like you don't even write a sentence, even if you just leave a nice emoji, don't leave me a mad face. That won't help me. Okay. Don't leave me crazy emojis. Leave me nice emojis. When you leave nice emojis, that helps me. When you share me to your stories, that helps me. When you share me to your feed, that helps me. And I can use all the help I can get because, of course, I'm God's gal. I've done this all with God, and I'm self-published because that's what God told me to do. And I have to learn how to ask for the things I desire from the people who are present with me. So, to those of you watching in repeat, you know your little like, your little comment. Also, anybody that watches the video all the way through to the end, even if you turn down the volume and just let it play all the way through, if you can't listen to me, that also counts for something. If they see that people watch the video all the way through, that helps the algorithm. And yeah, as I said, I would appreciate your help in any of those ways. And do stay tuned because I am going to start doing the free word banks. I haven't picked a date, but I think there'll be one right at the end of April. If you've been tuning into my daily reflections where we have words that we experience, they're short, they're like less than 15 minutes. If you've been tuning into those daily and you've been writing down any of the words, you can bring them to the word bank. And if you haven't been tuning in, all of those are available on my YouTube channel. So there's probably, I don't know, 20 of them right now over on the YouTube channel that you can go and listen to and get yourself some words. But if you come into the word bank session, we are going to work on switching the frequency on words that we find through those daily reflections. If we notice a word has got an edgy feeling for us, doesn't feel so good, we're switching them up when we have a word bank session, and they're absolutely free because I am happy to give free experience so that people understand, you who are watching can have the opportunity to really understand for yourself what's Word Alchemy doing for me? Because this is about you. It's not about me. It's about you. I'm here for you. I'm here showing you. Why? Because it's worked for me and it's worked for many other people. Word Alchemy is a really new practice, but it is fresh and it actually provides a type of freedom that a lot of other things don't provide us, because this is working with language, the words, the building blocks of our ability to communicate in the world. So, why did God pick me? I don't know. I guess because I was going to listen, because I made the agreement to live by grace, and because I've always understood the power of the word. And as I said, I've used the word to create a great life in many ways, and I've also used the word to create not so great things. So I have a balanced approach to how it really is, and I understand that it is a journey, and that because there are like thousands of words coming at us every day, we have to be on top of ourselves in the way of how language is allowed to live in us, because it's working on us all the time. And we want the language living in us to be pure, to be bright, to be forward moving. And we can do that by cleaning up our language, by paying attention to our language, by when we use a word like should, and we recognize that we're shoulding someone, to have the ability to say in real time, oh, I've just used the word should. And what I really mean is, this is a suggestion that you could do, not that you should do. Okay, so we have to have these type of abilities. And word alchemy makes us ever present with our relationship with language. That's it for today. Thanks so much, Adriana and Angie, for being present. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.